Hi, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the upcoming Consult Australia Leaders Conference. I'm extremely proud of the program that we've put together. It might be virtual, but it won't be boring. Nicola, Linda, and I have thought about what you as leaders will need in the coming decade. I believe, as do the futurist demographers and economists that I know, that 2020 was simply a taster for the decade to come. Your leadership capabilities will be tested and stretched over the next 10 years because COVID-19 will hopefully be the most significant disruption of this decade, but it certainly won't be the last. In shaping this conference, we looked at various aspects of leadership, and the research told us that there will be 4 key characteristics that are critical for leaders to not only survive, but thrive through this challenging time. The first of these characteristics is purpose-driven leadership. What does your organization stand for? How do you communicate that so that your clients and your future employees get it? How do you use it as a competitive advantage? David Stannard will kick this session off. He's one of your own, an engineer by training who turned his company around by defining and articulating their vision, mission, and passion in a simple drawing. He'll lead us through a visual exercise that will help you achieve major strategic change, alignment, and performance results. We'll also hear from Laura Staples, Head of People and Performance for Laminex Australia, about the purpose that the company crafted for its business and how they've articulated that to their employees and the difference that it's made to the business. We'll then move into ethical leadership, where David Penglaze, one of Australia's top speakers and Hall of Fame member, will be sharing the latest evidence-based research on the science of intentional trust and how that impacts almost every measure in our personal and professional lives. Again, David just won't be a talking head. He'll be leading us through a simulation of sorts where you'll get to apply the concepts that he'll be teaching. We'll also be tackling one of these ethical issues with a panel head-on. We'll be exploring sexual harassment in the workplace. We kick off day 2 with inclusive leadership. Did you know that 90% of the world's data has been created within the last 2 years? That's staggering. But that's what Elisa Choi, economist and founder of Maven Data, Australia's first AI-powered market research agency, is going to tell us. Elisa will be leading us through 3 very practical steps to navigate these oceans of data. Speaking of oceans, Commodore Martin Brooker will be bringing his 37 years of experience in the Australian Navy to help us learn how to lead when the data that we have is either conflicting or incomplete. His workshop is not to be missed. Regardless of whether we have too much or too little data, making decisions will require us to be inclusive leaders. Inclusive leadership will not only help us de-risk our decision-making, it will also help us bring everyone along on the journey. Juliet Bork, author of Which Two Heads Are Better Than One, will work through the 6 signature traits of inclusive leadership to make sure that everyone who should have a voice does. The final leadership characteristic, which we'll be exploring, is empathic leadership. Annalie Blundell is a people whisperer, and she will not only be looking at the role that empathy plays in leadership, she'll lead us through a workshop to help us understand how empathy and productivity must live side by side. As you can see, most of the 2 days will be about helping you become a better leader and taking care of your organization and your team. But like the airlines say, you must put your own oxygen mask on first to be able to help others. And we have you covered there as well. Resilience is going to be key over the next decade, and we've got 2 speakers who will make a dramatic impact in your ability to develop and flex that muscle when you need to. Jacqueline Nagle is a personal friend and the most resilient person I know because she's had to be. Wait until you hear her story. The framework that she'll lead us through in her very interactive session will help us develop our 3 pillars of mental, commercial, and positional resilience. And then she'll be followed by our much beloved MC of the Awards for Excellence, Greg Ward, who'll be sharing his personal lifelong mental health journey, offering practical insights and effective leadership strategies and techniques for leadership resilience. And of course, we have a world-renowned futurist to kick us off. Mark Mccrindle will be painting a picture of what the world might look like post-COVID, and he'll be followed by our much anticipated economic outlook. We'll also be looking at industry-specific issues such as our increasing and changing infrastructure needs and how to build smart communities. I really hope you join us. This is the 5th Leaders Conference that I've been involved with and the 2nd that I've had the honor to MC. I can put my hand on my heart and say that this conference was specifically crafted with you in mind. Register now with the link below and bring your friends, teammates, and colleagues. It's going to be a ripper. How's that for an American trying to sound Australian?